Today in the shop I have a Europa monowheel on one of the later model Europa trailers, and I'm going to go over today what some of the things that you can do to the Europa monowheel trailer to make it easier to load, unload, and prevent damage while in transit. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the ramp you see right here. It's a simple wood ramp tailored to fit the bracket that you see on the front of the aircraft right here that locks into the landing gear. It's on the back of the trailer, and when it drops down, it allows the ramp to be at a lower angle, much easier to get on and off, and it also prevents the wing inside bracket for the flap bracket from hitting this crossbar as it goes on and off the trailer. Because the slightest angle that it makes, and because it's on a very sharp angle when it's down and it's completely on the ground, the aircraft will roll off the trailer quickly and generally smack that bracket. The ways that we hold this aircraft securely is, the first thing, the bracket must fit very tightly against the swing arm. And you put a piece of phenolic in there, typically about a 1/16 of an inch to a 32nd of an inch, to get that as tight as possible and still allow it to slip on and off. The next thing we're going to talk about are these two arms. You see right into the center here, there's an actual handhold that you can spin this. This one's a right hand, this one is a left hand. So in other words, it's just like a turnbuckle, it just tightens it right up. On the very front you see two long arms added to this, and what those are is so I can lay on my back and push with my feet and push that all the way up. I don't really do that anymore, don't need to. And the reason for that is two things. One, a winch on the back, and the other one is a spacer for the tire. This is a 7-inch tire. 7-inch tire is about 6.5 to 7 inches wide in an 8-inch hole. Although you may have it secure up here, down here the tire can lean from side to side, allowing the side of the fuselage to lean over 5 to 7 degrees and hit right here on the flap bracket, or the wing bracket that holds it. We don't want that to happen. So down here you'll see that there's a piece of plywood that's actually been put in here. It's 3/4 inch plywood. It's shaped to fit, and a 3/4 inch piece on each side is just enough to make that tire, when you pull it up, squeak when it goes in there. When pulled up tightly, it will keep it from going left or right. If the tire doesn't shift left or right, and up here at the front bracket it doesn't shift, the aircraft will stay quite secure. I'm going to rock the aircraft right now, and you can see that it does not rock or move very far with those simple things done to the wheel holder tray. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is the space between the wing holders and the fuselage. This is about 1.5 inches. The minimum distance between this area here, and you can see I put a countersunk set of screws in here to hold these straps, but the distance between here and the other side is going to be a minimum of 40 inches. I like to go to 42 inches if I can. How do I do that? Well, I can put a brace that runs from here down to the other side, with the aircraft not on here, of course, and I can use a jack, and I can actually jack these two guys apart here or push over on the other side. This distance between here and here must be a minimum of 6.5 inches, or you will chafe your wing, and you'll chafe it very, very badly. What I like to do to prevent chafing, and for those of you with clear coat jobs on your airplane, which are very soft and leave a mark no matter what happens, go ahead and make yourself a felt sleeve that goes around the wing, all the way around the wing. That's about 6 inches wide, that you can tape on so that the whatever strap that you choose won't chafe into your paint. These wing brackets are designed so that they flop down as you're getting ready to pull them out of the wing racks and start sliding them out. And you can see this one's got one of those cosmic spring-loaded latches, very slick. Just remember to make your wiring so that it's got a loop, a service loop, so that when it swings down, it will not rip your wires out, which happened on this one. The lights were added, and remember, when you drop the brackets down, the lights will impact the ground, so you have to be very careful how you do that. Wheels and fenders are difficult to keep on these small trailers. Make sure that you keep them greased. It's not a bad idea to have a spare and a jack handy for tire changes, especially if you've got a long way to go on your monowheel trailer. The next thing I'm going to talk about is back here at the aft station, and that is where the wing spar goes. The wing spar, for a classic, this will be a welded bracket that's much thinner than this one that you see here, and it will just be large enough that you can slide your spar in here and drop a pin down to support, to keep the wing from sliding off the back end. On the later XS's, there's a bracket that it was welded on, and as you can see here, it's pretty slick. I just copied that and put it on. Simple hinge on here. In this case, those are just tack screws, but it's welded also. What really makes this trailer has the wing brackets. You really can't convince me to put my stabs on that for transport. I usually put the stabs someplace. What really makes life easy is having a winch on the back. You can see this winch is located just at the aft end of the hitch. And the hitch mechanism, you can see the handle here is very, very close. Okay, it's got a simple ratchet handle, and the reason for the ratchet handle is between the jack, the winch, the tire, and the arm here. It's kind of hard to get and the vehicle located right here. It's a little hard to get in there and start cranking a large handle. So this type ratcheting winch handle is very handy. This particular model was made by Haulmaster, and it hauls. It's got a 20-foot strap on it. You only need about 6 or 7 feet to pull the aircraft up the ramp, but it really makes it handy. Another thing, you have to hold the tail wheel in this slot. Now, some have a manufactured hook that comes around here when the aircraft is pulled all the way back. I just put a ratchet strap around there between the axle bolt and washer there around to the other side, and that makes it nice and secure. There's also a jack. This particular one was on the trailer. A lot of US guys will take and put a slot, just get a piece of steel that slides in here to receive in here and weld a standard US jack for about $20 and put it right there on the side with a kick up, and it allows you to have a jack put in pretty easy, and you're more clear of the trailer, because the neck on this trailer is really short. I'm big on tow bars. I even have them for tailwheel aircraft. This one's fully extended, and you can see it just hooks right up to the back end of the tail wheel bolts, and allows you to push and pull the aircraft. Although you can string a rope in between there for cross countries, and a little short piece of rubber hose to make a handle so that you can pick it up and drag the tail around, but I'm getting too old and fat for that. Here's the other wing bracket, and this one must be hinged. Now, you don't have to put a fancy snap catch on it. You can simply weld on hinge on this side, weld on a hinge on this side, and on this one simply grind off the bolt, drive it out, and instead of the pin in here, just put a bolt so that you can remove the bolt on this side and make it hingeable. And that'll allow you to clear the spar strap on the wing. Again, it's really important to make sure that you have the spacing right here between these. If it pops off and it drags on the ground while you're going down the road, it'll do this and tear it up, and that's not good for anything. Not good for the lights for sure. You can actually look at this bracket and you can see that it's actually been bent. And again, the way I do that is I run a board from either the base up here, I'll run it from here to the base of the one on the other side, put a bracket in, or a screw jack in here, and then just a standard car screw jack that you had for changing a spare tire, and then I'll just jack this guy out. Now if you have brackets in here, welded brackets, that's a little bit of a problem. You may have to cut those to make it easier to bend. If you look carefully on this one, you'll see it's bent. I got a little carried away. You really should clamp here and here to make sure that the bottom plate here won't bend when you're doing your bending. Otherwise, you'll bend it someplace you don't really want to. Another thing to consider is the trailer axle and the lights are well behind the nose of the aircraft. I'm going to swing this over this way so that you can see the nose of the aircraft. We're talking pretty close to 6 feet here, and one of the ways that my fabricator used to take care of this was by simply welding a piece of channel, or actually square tubing here, and then he had used it as a receptacle and put a smaller piece of square on the inside of it with a pin lock, and then it came out the back of the aircraft to approximately level with the propeller, but much lower down here at about the same height, about 2.5 feet above the ground, and then went across to the other side and then back in. And what this did is gave them a place to mount the trailer lights and the license plates to be acceptable to the local police for the amount of aircraft that was hanging out of the back. The other thing you can do is hang a red flag on the back. It depends on your state and local laws. Again, the big thing is down here on the wheel, make sure that you have some sort of spacer to take up the your tire and make it as tight as possible. For those of you with a Classic with the exhaust that came out, this notch that's in here is for a Classic. For an XS, I'd have my welder just weld in a piece of 1/2-inch aluminum right in here to bring this up nice and tight. Again, it holds well enough for me to go 9 miles back and forth, but if you're going to go long distances with the trailer, you may want to consider having that welded up and made nice and secure. This pretty much gives you all the different techniques that I use here at Custom Flight to make a monowheel trailer into a usable trailer that is easy for even just one man with a couple of sawhorses to get the aircraft on. Although you